I want to talk about leadership for a second, John. You often say that a leader is a person who enters into the pain of the people of their time. And one of the things that I have reflected about John's thinking and leadership and theology over the last 50 years is that I believe that it is truly one of the first indigenous theologies out of U.S. poverty that has been created by the people for our current reality, and that's why it's so powerful. We didn't import a theology to the rural poor or urban poor and say, it worked over here in the suburbs, so now it's got to work here. You kind of read the Bible and you said, okay, here's what the Bible is saying for this particular context. So can you talk about how that happened and maybe the importance of that as we think about a new day?
Yeah, and I think it's a strong biblical principle. The prototype of leadership in the Bible is Moses. I guess you know that. Anybody who read the Bible, that God has made Moses the prototype. And that when he met Moses, Moses told God about the situation that they're in. And God said, I see what you see. And then he said, Moses had been trying to do something about it 40 years ago. And he failed. And I'm sure Moses said, God, I'm glad you're going to do it. But then he said, I'm going to use you to solve the problem. And so that's a great principle that I have organized and I've heard about. And I guess I heard the first best thought of indigenous leadership from a principle that President Eisenhower used in terms of his leadership, defining leadership. A leader is a person who gets other people to do exactly what vision that the leader see, and he do that because he wants to. And so a leader is one who stands up in the midst of the crisis and say, follow me in relationship, and is able to share that vision in a way that that vision become their very own. And that's what I heard it this morning from Vance too. An indigenous leader emerges within the midst of the people, and that's the best leadership. And that should always be that way. Indigenous people around the world don't do well. Don't do well because we haven't went there. We went there and we exploited them, colonized them, and did some control of them, but never following their deep felt needs and their longing. Moses was longing for deliverance for 40 years in the back country. And God said, I heard you. I've come down to join with you in doing this leadership development. And that's why we thought this through. That's what God did himself. He saw our brokenness and he came down incarnational and lived among us and living his life out through us and feeling the needs of the people and engaging them with assisting them in their development. It thrills me that God could redeem me out of poverty and then, engage me to become a worker together with the God of creation to share this vision with others. That should be our joy.
Right.
That should be our joy. That should be our joy in life. So that's the way you do it. That's the way it's got to be. That's what the incarnation is about. He became likened to us.
Right.
He that knew no sin was made sin for us so that we could join with him in this redemptive work here on earth. I mean, that thrills me. I mean, I shouldn't need no other esteem